But Ellie thinks that I'm after her GPA.
He is.
That's not true.
Yes. In reality, you asked me what, my study habits and stuff like that. The reality is I am so driven by getting into dental school and pursuing the career that I want to pursue to help people how I was helped. And I think that's the bottom line is you just need to find what you are so passionate about and what is meaningful to you in your life.
I have my, I think, 6th guest, Ellie Nisbet. How are you?
Good. What are you?
I don't know. How's your semester going? Yeah.
It's going really well. We're almost to spring break, so we're kind of getting a hold on the semester, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Nice. So Ellie goes to Minnesota State, but is from...
I'm from Holcomb, Wisconsin, which is a small town in northern Wisconsin. It's an hour north of Eau Claire.
Nice. Yeah, I've actually really grown up here now, or being here now. I really like northern Wisconsin. My parents-in-law live up there now, and it's really pretty. So
yeah,
not too bad to say the least. So what drew you to MSU of all places then? Why'd you leave the homeland?
Well, actually, originally I was a nursing major, and I wanted to go to the U of M because they had a great program. I got accepted into the nursing program. And then this was kind of my backup school. So I started touring it. And then when I toured it, I actually really loved it here. And the thing is with Mankato is I have all of my family here, all of my mom's family and my dad's family is all from southern Minnesota. And so I've never lived near any of my family. And so that was also a really important thing for me. So once I came here and actually really enjoyed how small the campus was and how connected everything was, I kind of decided that this was the right fit for me. And especially once I switched my major to biomedical sciences, I liked that MSU had a specific degree for all the things I needed for dental school.
Nice. No, that's awesome. And to anybody out there listening that's going through that same college selection process, was there something on the tour or was it something you read maybe? What was a tipping point, you think?
I don't really know. It was kind of just the environment of being in the campus. The U of M campus was gorgeous and it was beautiful and huge, and it was everything I'd ever imagined about going to college. But when I came here, this felt more of home. Growing up in a small town, I graduated with 50 people. And so once I came here, I kind of realized this is the step that I want in between my high school career and then going to dental school, because I wanted that in between where I could be with my family and also be in a situation where I'm growing as a person and a student while also keeping myself in an area that I feel most comfortable.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people probably wouldn't reflect that but it's a huge state school. But I think you're the second or third person to say the word home, essentially, that it was hey, I could figure my way out here. This is kind of my place. So awesome. But yeah, tell us more about pre-dental. Why pre-dental, Ellie?
Actually, this is a long story, and I don't know if I've ever told you about it.
Right.
But originally, I was very set on nursing. My mom's a nurse anesthetist, and that's what I wanted to be forever. But then once I got into my senior year, I started to kind of look into different options because I started to realize that I didn't think nursing was really for me. And so when I was looking into other options, my mom actually was like, you should really consider dentistry. I think you would really enjoy it. I think this is something that I could see you doing long term. And I was like, absolutely not. I did not want anything to do with it. Because growing up, I actually had a lot of dental trauma. I chipped my front tooth, so I actually have a fake front tooth.
You do?
Yeah, I know. I fell on my face when I was 9 years old at my birthday.
Oh.
And so yeah, I have a fake tooth and I had to get a root canal and all those sorts of things. I had braces for 3 years, and growing up in a small town, there was dental practices that I wasn't really familiar with and didn't really like, and so forth. So I actually was very against it. And then once I switched to my current dentist, my perception of dentistry completely changed. And my dentist, Dr. Travis, genuinely made me feel comfortable in my own smile and happy again with how I could smile, how I could present myself. And so acknowledging that and coming to the conclusion that this is how I want to help people. Instead of helping people in a way that my mom and my sister both do as nurses, I wanted to have my own place in this world, helping people how I once was helped. And so, yeah, I guess that's really the main focus on why I switched to pre-dental. And yeah.
Nice. No, that's awesome. Yeah, you never told me that you had braces for 3 years too. I thought nobody would have me beat on that record. I had an underbite, Ellie.
Oh, I had an overbite, not an underbite.
That's chipping teeth and stuff too. That's awesome though. I didn't know. Yeah. So see, like that's the kind of background too that the other audience of the show is like current students going through the like, okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? And like getting out of that personal statement that's like, I don't know, I just want to help people. Which is like you like being able to build that like on experiences, and I'll break the fourth wall is a very good like option for everybody going through that. People like stories better. People like emotional like ties in more than other things. One of my computers just dinged me. Mute.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah, it's okay. That's what we get for having a GarageBand podcast right now in the office, but it's okay. Perfect. But no, I mean, and I think, like I said, without breaking too many, here's the other thing that I think people from the audience will learn a lot from you. Without breaking too many FERPAs here, let's just say, I think the audience has probably heard the word like academic weapon, right? If that's a thing, then Ellie's a nuclear bomb, okay? That's all I can say is like all way up there. Like the fine tooth, like not missing a point type of thing. And I don't think I've had a student quite at that level ever. So here's what we'll ask for you. How do you do it?
Honestly, here's the real story. So I was kind of raised as like, I grew up in a small town. My dad owns his own business. And I was raised as you don't do anything halfway. You do it full percent, 100% of the time. And so that's how I was always raised. And all throughout high school, that's how I was. I was involved in 3 sports. I was involved in all the clubs. I had leadership positions in all these clubs. And so when I got here, it was actually kind of a hard adjustment. Being in an environment that I knew everyone in my home, like in my hometown and whatever, and all that support. So coming here was actually a little bit of a adjustment for me. And it did take some time. Like my first exam, in biology, my first biology exam, I got probably a 92, I believe. And I was like, oh, okay, this is different because I was used to getting like 100s and stuff like that in high school, right? And actually something that would really surprise you is I got, I think it was a C on an exam for a human development class that was online because I don't focus well when people are around. And I was in the library and there was a soccer team in there and they were all talking and laughing. And yeah, I did not do very well. But luckily it still ended up going out well because my teacher, I went to my professor and I explained the situation, and I sit in the front of the class, I answer all of his questions. So it ended up working out well. But after those situations, I kind of had to develop a study habits and stuff like that worked for me. Right. And so what I ended up learning is I learn very well with active recall. I use Quizlet a lot, and I basically just have to type out and restate and go over everything that we discuss in lecture. And that really helps me. I go through it twice, go through all the lecture slides, doing active recall twice, and then I good to go for all the exams.
Nice. And I mean, that's definitely one of those cognitive ones that we know works. What do you think the misconception about that word is? Like, you do it your way and it works.
Well, what I've noticed with active recall is people tend, when they're doing it on a whiteboard, they tend to just write out all their notes. And then they're active recalling, but when they miss things, they're not focusing in and going back like 3 more times to make sure you have that, versus that's what Quizlet gives you. Is if you get it wrong, then it gets put back into the pile and you have to reactive learn it and you have to redo that until you get it right. And then once you do that, for me, I do it twice, then everything's solidified in my brain. And so I think that's the misconception with active learning or active recall is that some people think that they're actively recalling it, but they'll like peek at their notes and then they'll be like, oh, I knew that, or, oh, that makes sense. Like I'll know that on the exam. And then they're actually just submitting it to short-term memory versus long-term memory. And I think that's the difference. But But yeah.
No, I'd agree. Yeah. And that kind of nails it right on the head, where it's like the hardest part of learning that first new stuff is the stuff you get wrong the first round. And a lot of people will, like, it's uncomfortable and they'll be like, give me my notes. Where is it? And like kind of just look right for it kind of. So having the like grit and then like to go through that hard part is still super important. So something like that is definitely like a good reflection for everybody to hear. Like, if you don't mind, I'll probably clip that part. Like make a clip of it and like be like, Ellie's massive study advice. Yay. You don't we don't have to. Yeah,
I don't care. I'm just laughing because of course you would say that.
What? Come on. We're going big, Ellie, with this thing. Don't worry.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Here, wait. Speaking of big, I got to get that. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot the podcast plan. Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's fine. The little wide shot will see it. Anyway, so it's fun. It's like a little owl.
Yeah.
Remember the little knowledge owl?
Uh-uh.
I wasn't intent. Well, never mind. Anyway.
Okay.
And again, I think you kind of already did a really good job explaining it, but I think like after I had you in class, I did give you the pre-dental. We did the pre-dental interview like practice thing, and like one thing you got that I think you'll get is like, wait a sec, why wouldn't you be a surgeon, basically? And like you really elaborated in that moment and in today's why it's like, no, I am driven to do the thing I want to do for these reasons. And I'd say that's like the biggest thing that hopefully a viewer can take away is like, find that thing that like, you're like, I would do this for like nearly free. Like, I want to do this. This is like kind of my mission type of thing. So, and I think crafting that personal statement can be tougher sometimes if they haven't had those experiences.
Oh, yeah, I would 100% agree. Yeah. I would say I'm very, very, very lucky to have a connection to something that I'm so passionate about, that drives me. And like, in reality, you asked me what, like, you know, my study habits and stuff like that. The reality is I am so driven by getting into dental school and pursuing the career that I want to pursue to help people how I was helped. And I think that's the bottom line is like, you just need to find what you are so passionate about and what is meaningful to you in your life.
Nice. Yeah, no, definitely. Equally, yeah, I was going to say, what's your schedule now? Like, as you're a student right now, like, what's your like schedule for taking the DAT applications? Like, where are you kind of at in the timeline? Because most people don't know the exact timeline.
Yeah. So right now, not including this semester, I have a year and a half before I graduate. So I graduate in December of 26. And so this summer, I'll actually start studying for the DAT, and I'll probably take it next January, anywhere from January to March, depending on how I'm feeling with the material. But I really just plan on grinding out over winter break in December and really hammering down on it. So as far as that, that's what my plan for the DAT. And then next summer, I will begin to apply. So I'll get all my stuff together, get all my applications, submit them, and I plan on applying to, I really want to stay close to home because, like I said, family is very important to me. Community is very important to me, and living in the Midwest is where I belong. And so I really will plan on looking into U of M and Marquette and Iowa and even Omaha and schools like that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at and preparing to go to dental school.
Awesome. Yeah, I heard Omaha. I know we've talked UNMC. Go Labs, because you know their mascot is a yellow lab.
Really?
Yeah. The students voted on it. Yeah, I should put a graphic in the video for this. A plug for my alumni place.
Oh,
but yeah, I want to bring up, because Julia will be on the podcast eventually. I love that like you found Julia, who's another like super high academic, high achiever. And like the way she tells the story, I was like, how did you meet Ellie? You know, because like Julie's on the soccer team. And so I was like, you know, and I know it's hard to break out of the sport team, like who you know and stuff. How did you find Julia?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said you asked Julia.
Yeah.
So funny story. Chemistry, our first chemistry class, we were both freshmen, and it was Chem 201. And we had lab together. And so this is first semester, our freshman year. Getting in your first chemistry class is very nerve-wracking. And like in high school, I did advanced chemistry through like Madison College. And so I know how stressful the labs can be, especially titrations and all that stuff. And a lot of it revolves around your partner. And so when I got there that day, I was like looking around the hallways, like, who's going to be a good partner? Like, who am I going to relate with? Who am I going to
I just
like.
love it. Yeah, I just love that you like scoped it
Oh
out.
yeah, that is. Hey, I mean, don't judge.
No, it's good. It's actually kind of smart because, like, honestly, like, and I've joked with Julie about this, and we'll maybe reflect on this when she comes on this. No, that first day in lab is just like jungle, no rules stuff. And so, like, hey, like anybody listening, like, it's a different experience too. It's like one of those kind of hardcore college experiences too. Like, depending where you sit, like, you don't know what's happening, but yeah, you got pretty good instincts.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing is then I literally saw her and I was like, I'm going to follow her into the room and we're going to, because like you have like stations where it's like two people.
Yeah.
And so she kind of was walking in and then we kind of like gravitated to the same thing. And then once we started getting to know each other, I was like, wow, like I picked a really good lab partner, especially because we are very parallel on many like academic and just in general our morals and stuff like that. So it really worked out well. And she ended up being a really good friend that I'm still close with now.
I know, it was cool, yeah. And like, because you guys were always in genetics together, things like that. But and like she reflects positively on you the same way, where it's like I think we both like balance each other out. Like she says that sometimes she has lapses in her like effort and seriousness in moments, and then she like looks at you, she's like, okay, I got to get ready. It's kind of like how like it's kind of how like Kobe Bryant was like, I'm gonna be in the gym, and then all the rest of the Lakers were like, oh shit, we got to go in the gym too.
Yeah. Oh, I would definitely agree with the fact that we balance each other out because she's very like the difference between me and Julia is she's very like more like you, like her mind is just like all over the place, like bing bong boom, like making all these connections in her mind, and I'm more like concrete, like I want to know like exactly how it is. I don't want to bing bang bop all around my mind. And so we tend to balance each other out in that sense. And like in school, she'll be like, oh my gosh, like blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, you're fine. And then she'll be like, oh, I know I'm fine. Yeah, we're good. And then like we kind of balance each other's personalities out with school, which actually really helps.
Yeah. And like, I think there was a great article the other day that it was like, it takes 2 to learn. And like 2 is like almost the best pairing for like study groups and stuff. 3 is probably fine, but it does like, I don't know, having that challenge in that person to like reflect on a little bit is super helpful, I think. But how dare you say that my mind bounces around? Oh shoot.
You can't tell me it doesn't.
I know, it's really bad. It's just like a firestorm of like just everything at once. But I definitely felt this. There were times in genetics that we'd be in lab, like, and you were doing the post-lab questions, which is hilarious because remember, those were designed for people to like, that were like almost failing. Those were the practice for them. And I was like, Ellie, you're fine. But it was good. You still did it.
But then you would run away from me and you wouldn't answer my questions.
I was going to say that. Like if Ellie would ask so many questions that I would be like, oh my God, she's coming over. And I would just like pick up myself and be like, I got to get out of here.
Okay, well, you didn't provide an answer key. So, and I like the concrete answers.
You said though, the Quizlet. You said the Quizlet challenges you not to know each one.
Well, yeah, but I'm not studying that far in advance. Come on now.
So yeah, and we talked about that on some of the earlier episodes about like the non-answer key. Yeah, worked out though. You still got, you did pretty well, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, that was funny. Like sometimes we'd be in lab and I'd be like explaining something and I would go off on like our blue and green text kind of tangent type stuff. And I was like, did you know that this gene caused this over here? And this is really neat. And you're like, what? Tell me right now, am I right? And I was like, how dare you?
Or he would be like, oh, well, actually, you could do more practice on this part. And I was like, no, I just want to know the answer to the question I'm asking you.
I know, it was bad. But I think like we had the email exchange at the end and you were like, hey, like, thank you for challenging me and pushing me because you saw something in me. And like, I think I alluded to it in the message too. You're the first student in a long time that also made me reflect on like, what can I do for like this style of student better? One that is like not only just the high achiever, but high thinker and like wants to know more about stuff. So that was, I don't know if I revealed that to you, but I definitely had like thought about that. And I had one of my little vision quests to Colorado last like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, nice, I need to focus more on like building like the high stuff too sometimes. So, and that helps. And making fun of you guys is really fun anyway, because you're all high achievers. So it's fine. I wonder, But no, we had a good time in genetics. It is a weirder subject where it is like, there's more puzzle to it. So there are like multiple answers in a lot of cases versus like we're in human physiology right now. And it's like, that's happening. This is happening. I think I haven't shown you how we're doing like pathophys and stuff. It's just like a list of like 460 diseases.
Yeah, Julia was telling
She's
me,
showing
and
you?
I was like, I would not like that.
Oh yeah, you would. Come on.
You going out of lecture to learn this stuff?
Oh, you have to. I can't make 100 slides. Would you rather I did 100 slides?
No.
Okay.
But then how are we supposed to know what you want us to know?
It's on there. It's red texted.
Oh,
So
but
for
Julia
each,
said they have to research their own diseases.
I gave
Like
them
you
a
give
free-
them the diseases, but then they have to know
Yeah.
everything about it on their own.
Not everything,
Oh.
Julia. Thanks. But yeah. So the Pathodex. So it's like Pokedex, like Pokemon, because that was funny.
Yeah.
Damn it. We're gonna cut that. All right. Anyway, so it's all these diseases, and like, you know, here's the group of ones that are on exam 1. Here's the group of ones on exam 2, and then the third one, the final. Yeah, I think for patho, it's like etiology, which means cause. You have to know that. Next is like symptoms and like how it presents. You had to know that one. And then pathogenesis, which is like, why does it happen? Like what like genes or receptors are like being bothered by this type of thing. So ultimately, like some of those answers are pretty easy where it's like Zika virus. What's the cause? Well, mosquito bit you and it's a virus. Done. But then like pathogenesis goes a little more into some stuff. No, I think you'd crush that. Yeah, it'd be, yeah.
Well, maybe. I guess we'll see.
We're offering it next fall. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, but Ellie thinks that I'm after her GPA.
He is.
That's not true.
Yes,
That's not possible. If I tried to go for your GPA, the rest of the class would suffer so badly.
Travis learned that too.
Are you serious?
Yes. He said
So intro, Dr. Bethel's our organic professor, and he and I started at the same time. So we kind of have the same attitude about you guys.
they have the same attitude about me. They both want they both want to win. That's what Travis calls it. He calls it winning when I get points off. He'll call it, I won, you lose.
Oh my God. Over what? Like 2 points?
Yeah. He takes pride in that.
I'll be fair. Yeah, I think there's only a couple times. Yeah, but I think the first, I think you got half a point off something in lab. And I got this email of like 5 things, and I was like, oh my God.
See, but here's the thing. Like I told you, I want to know. Like I'm not
That's
just
fair.
a student.
I know.
I'm
I
not
know
just
that
a
now.
student in class trying to
know.
get an A on the exam. I'm a student trying to learn. Like I want to learn and I want to know. And so like in that situation, I was just like, I'm confused and I just want to know how to do better.
Right. And I think like, have you heard that, and we brought this up a couple times, have you heard the word grade gunner? Somebody that like just does anything for an A possible, but they don't want to learn. They don't care. You're not one of those.
No.
Because that doesn't last long. So I've talked about that multiple times on the show. If you just like try to hammer bricks of emails into stuff or just like, you know, chintz points on stuff, it's not going to work long term because you'll get to the dental school, you'll get to the med school, and it's like, oh, dang it. Really wish I would have given this a shot. But no, you're exactly what I try to like. You are what I remember what I say to the class. I was like, you need to be serious people.
I'm serious.
Ellie's a serious person.
I'm not serious. I just take my academics serious.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
Well, yeah.
But no, I mean you're an example of like even in a larger state school, like you found community, you found all this stuff. I mean, you found you also know how to like, and Emma, one of the other episodes talked about like kind of part of working in the med teams and dental teams, like the same things. It's healthcare is like being able to talk with people who have been there longer than you or are like theoretically you're learning from. And that can be like kind of one of the harder parts of college, but those journeys are always kind of what builds on stuff. And you do a really good job of that. So
yeah, I mean, it hasn't been all easy, like by any means. Like I struggle like anyone else in things. And the only thing that really sets me apart, I think, is my drive. Like I get broken down and then I come right back up and I work harder and I try to make it better for myself and for like my knowledge and learning and education, and also like preparing for the DAT and preparing myself for dental school, not just getting the grades to get in and then struggling once I'm there. Like I want to be ready for dental school.
Like the best one in the class. Like, and like maybe not like super that competitive, but like you want to be good at what you do.
Yeah.
And a lot of people I think are so focused on, I just got to get in all the time. But no, like what you just described is resilience. And like, that's a big one. And I think like we've talked a bit about, like you said, you played, you know, you've done sports before, you know what it's like to lose, but how to rebuild back from everything. So So again, that's why I still encourage that. And especially as like finances in colleges will get a little different soon where it's like, oh no. And you'll hear voices that are like, oh no, just class only. And it's like, it kind of takes things away from what this all can be technically. So we'll see. All right. Now for some other fun stuff, we always bring up what's the AI situation for you, like in your interpretation as a student, the AI education thing?
Like how I use it, or like my
Either, yeah.
perception of it in general used in education?
Either way you want to use it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in general, my perception of like AI technology, ChatGPT, I think it can be an incredibly useful tool. Like I know some people use it to submit their lecture slides into it and ask like, hey, will you make an NCLEX, specifically talking about my nursing friends, like, will you make an NCLEX based exam based off of this material? Give me multiple choice, give me free answer, make it difficult. Like this is a 300 level class. So I think those like reasons for like using it to study and to help you excel is fantastic. Even using it in writing, like in the sense of, okay, I'm really stumped. I don't know where to start. I don't know how I should word this. How can I better this? I think it's an incredible technology to really help you get over that writer's block, get over that your mind block and figuring out how to like go about something in a different way. And something, I'm in a class right now, Humanities 101W. It's a writing intensive, and we've like talked about a lot about AI technology, and we actually integrate it a lot into our classroom because she wants us to learn how to use it properly. And so we've really learned how to set ourselves up for success and use it as a tutor or just another set of, I don't know what word I'm looking for there, but just like another perspective on situations that can help you out. And so like we use it in that class we show screenshots, we use it to better our work and to help us in it. But I do think, however, that some people have used that and use it in their classes to answer all their homework or write an essay for them, and then they put it through a dehumanizer to act like they wrote it and whatnot. And I think that's just, you're wasting your money and school in general. And I also think you're just harming yourself. But like I said, you need to be able to captivate it and use it in the correct way in our society. Like it's something that's here to stay and it's not going away. So you need to like learn how to use it in a beneficial way that's not harming you or your education. So yeah, I guess that's my take on it.
Dang, that was articulate. I don't have much to add. That was good. No, that was, and then especially from a student perspective of like, God, that helps because like if I gotta say, if I had said that, there would be like, shut up, old man. Like, don't tell us how to use our AI. But like you said, like the writing, the learning, the planning, the making your own Quizlets, that builds a lot of other stuff. And you've gotten to that point that you're able to do that. And that's very important and a very cool distinction, I think. So another one that I wanted to ask, what would you say is like maybe a misconception of like what you do in college or like higher ed in general, or like that you kind of ever deal with? Because you are from a smaller town, right? So was I. I was like public school. I don't know. Is that like anything you really deal with or not really? They're just like, Ellie's off to be a dentist.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Like, do your friends and family ask like, oh, like, what are you up to for 4 years in college? Like, what do you guys, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
I mean, I don't really know. People don't really, I mean, like I said, I've always been driven, so people never really question, like, oh, what are you doing? Are you focused on school? Are you, doing the right things? But one thing that is different from our school is, like, I am one of two people that have pursued dentistry in the last, I don't even know how many. My sister is 6 years older than me, and that's a girl in her class is in dental school right now. And me and her are the only ones that I know of that are pursuing it and have been in the last probably 10 years or more.
Okay. Biomed, like kind of like you are, or anything like that. Kind of what advice would you say for them that's out there listening, like kind of on that next step level that they might be going to? So like a pre-college parent or student, basically.
Yeah. Well, I've actually gotten called back to my high school to talk to
nice.
Our biology students and stuff like that before. So I guess basically my advice to them was pretty simple. Coming from a small town, you need to work hard. Like, it is very, very different. And even mentioning Julia again, she came from a D1 school in Mankato. And I think it was Mankato East, it must have been. And so she had so many opportunities with taking like AP courses and getting into finals and like all of these greater experiences that coming from a small school, you don't get those academic experiences. And so what I would tell these students is that you can do it. It just takes effort and it takes drive, and you have to want it. And also, you have to be passionate about it. Like, there's some people I know that think that I want to go into biology because that's what everyone else is going into. But then it's like, that's not how you need to pursue something you're passionate about, whether it's nursing or business or biology or public speaking, whatever that may be, no matter your route, you just have to find it and pursue that.
Yeah, no, that's excellent again. Sorry. I keep giving Ellie too much credit on this. Her ego's going to go through the roof.
I do not have an ego.
No. But no, I was kind of from not as small as yours. Like, I think my graduating class in high school was like 150, and that's still almost small.
That's kind of big.
It's fine. We were like 600 people. But same thing. It was like we didn't have the AP classes. I had to kind of, like you said, like figure it all out. I didn't build my inherent drive until later. My inherent drive was an outer drive. My mom, who was a teacher, and she was like, you get in there and you take that class, Keenan. And I was like, okay. But it all worked out. But no, that's excellent advice to just be like, hey, like that's the main thing is like find what you're good at and what you like to do. And I think there's a ton of pressure right now, honestly, and I'll say this as a STEM professor, to be like only STEM. Oh my God. Like to only do that. And I don't know. I'm sad because like I'm very like I would have done history had it not been biology type of stuff. And I think there's a lot of people, like I'll even say it like in genetics or the big classes, that they're like, well, I don't like biology. And I was like, you can major in anything. Like, now's the time then.
Yeah.
So that's coming from you helps for that too, because again, I'm not the screaming old man saying it. So it's good. Awesome. Well, any closing thoughts? You want to make fun of me at all for the last minute or anything?
No.
You're okay. Yeah. No bad stories of me.
Not off the top of my head.
Good. Yeah. We're going to get that GPA, me and Dr. Bethel. Oh shit, we're going to cut that part.
Yeah.
We're not going to get that GPA.
Well,
it's not.
You never know.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right. We're excited.
Hopefully.
Thanks so much for joining us, Ellie.
Yeah, thank you for having me.